Hi, it's Dwyer, gamblersadvisory.com, dwyervip.com. Remember, the opinion you should follow should be your own. Just consider this video to be a second opinion from a complete stranger online. Now, you've heard from a lot of talking heads out there, including yours truly, opining about who's going to win Anthony Joshua against Wladimir Klitschko. Right now, sometimes you make a prediction here online, and at least I am surprised by public mood, by the blowback. I'm surprised, stunned, really stunned beyond belief that so many people are discounting Wladimir Klitschko's chances in his fight against Anthony Joshua. I personally don't view the fight as close. To me, Klitschko is proven, right? I know Klitschko has a great jab. I've seen it in fight after fight, right? I know Klitschko isn't overcome by big moments because the guy has been in too many big moments in his career for me to believe that he's going to suddenly crack before a foreign crowd, right? Understand, this is a guy who fought Alexander Povetkin in Russia, right? This is a guy who fought Brian Jennings in New York. This is a guy who has fought other big names. He fought David Haye. Granted, the fight was in Germany, but that was such a big event that a multitude of heavyweight champions were there at the fight. Well, now he's going to fight before, if you believe reports, up to 90,000 people against an Olympic gold medalist, right, for the UK, who is now an unbeaten champion. Doesn't matter to me. In my opinion, as big as this moment is, right, Wladimir Klitschko is the one who has the experience, and in my opinion, that experience will give him the edge. He also has, to me, the better set of skills, right? Whose jab is better? Just let's think about it in the abstract. Whose jab is better? I would say it's Wladimir Klitschko's jab. Which one of these two guys has gone 12 rounds? Folks, Wladimir Klitschko has gone 12 rounds several times, right? Several times. Who knows how to clinch better, right? Who has made a mistake in a fight and has had to get off the canvas to win it? Understand, Wladimir Klitschko against Sam Peter gets off the canvas twice to win that fight. So you have many people talking about the fact that Klitschko is going to be 41 years old. Look, we all age differently. I can tell you, over the 2 decades plus that I've been aware of Wladimir Klitschko, folks, he's been around that long. Look at when he won his Olympic gold medal. By the way, don't be fooled here, right? Anthony Joshua is just one of 2 guys in this fight with Olympic gold medals, right? The entire time I've watched Wladimir Klitschko, I have never, and I mean never, seen this brother out of shape, right? He's the guy you look at who, weigh-in after weigh-in, comes in shape, right? So to me, the fact that he's 41 years old, he's a young 41. Quite frankly, as I've said, I thought he finished the Tyson Fury fight. Wasn't that his Waterloo? I thought he finished the Tyson Fury fight looking better than Tyson Fury in that 12th round. In other words, even the Tyson Fury fight didn't tell me that age has caught up to Wladimir Klitschko and that his stamina is gone. So, to my surprise, many of you in YouTube Nation have periodically dropped in on other videos and have said, hey, Dwyer, are you still taking Wladimir Klitschko over Anthony Joshua? Yes, I am. What's changed? Wladimir Klitschko's not out running the streets, folks. As far as I know, he hasn't developed a heroin addiction in the last few months. The guy's still serious about his craft. He knows what's at stake. Who on the planet knows what's at stake better than a heavyweight champion who was champion for more than a decade? He knows the game. Folks, he's lived the game. This isn't theory for him. This is reality. So, you have some men who also have lived the game, right? Lennox Lewis has been, whenever interviewed, and Lewis is one of boxing's elder statesmen. This is a guy who the press should look for more, should get what he thinks more, right? Lennox Lewis, who was with Emanuel Stewart, who was also with Wladimir Klitschko, right? Lennox Lewis believes that this is a competitive fight. Forget Vegas. I know in Vegas they're telling you Anthony Joshua is a big favorite, right? Whose opinion is that? That's not Lennox Lewis's opinion, right? Lennox Lewis likes Wladimir Klitschko in this fight. Lewis has even said that if Emanuel Stewart were still alive, this would be a relatively easy call. Well, now we have another man who has worn the heavyweight title belt. In fact, he's still wearing it. By the way, he's an Olympic medalist, right? By the way, he's also unbeaten. And that's Deontay Wilder. Now, there's a great article in boxingscene.com today. That's a must read. Now, understand, Wilder is involved in a lawsuit with Alexander Povetkin. I believe he should win the lawsuit. I think it's an outrage that Povetkin would test positive for drugs and then expect the champion who was traveling across the Atlantic, who had trained to fight him, not to get paid, right? So, of course, Wilder is down at the courthouse and he's a sitting duck for the press, right? If you're a public figure and you're at a trial or someplace where you have to be, well, guess what? The press knows you have to be there, and they're going to hop out the weeds. They're going to, hop out the bathroom into the hallway as you walk by and stick a mic in your face and ask you questions. So we get an unfiltered Deontay Wilder talking about his thoughts on Joshua Klitschko. Right? Now, keeping in mind that Joshua's biggest fights were who? Dylan White? Right? Dominique Brazil? Let's just say his biggest fights don't rate with Wladimir Klitschko's biggest fights. Well, here's what Deontay Wilder had to say. He said, David Price in the making. Look what happened to David Price. Don't misword me on it. The way they structured David Price, moving him so fast. The whole England was behind him when he wasn't really proven for real. He wasn't no killer. He ain't really fought no killer. But they had him as the biggest thing in England. And look who came along. How old was Tony Thompson? 40-something years old. Right now, folks, let me say this, right? And you can check the old videos. I picked Tony Thompson over David Price. That was when David Price was undefeated. I can tell you that Wladimir Klitschko is in a hell of a lot better shape than Tony Thompson was going into the David Price fight. Right? This is a champion. I want people to look at the 17 months. The 17 months Klitschko has had off. Now, I know for some, the question would arise, gee, isn't this guy gonna be rusty? 17 months, isn't that a long time? Can't a guy get in trouble in 17 months? Right? Understand there's another argument. Right? It's been 17 months and this guy was in training to avenge his loss to Tyson Fury. This guy was in the gym. This guy was motivated. That fight fell apart, no fault of Wladimir Klitschko's, right? And some would argue that Klitschko now has had a needed break. When you've been fighting for your entire career and you actually get a few months off after being heavily invested in the sport, right? Mentally, physically, as I've said, I have never seen Wladimir Klitschko out of shape, right? He's this generation's Evander Holyfield. The guy is always in shape, right? I'm expecting a rejuvenated Wladimir Klitschko. Let me say this too, those dodgy moments of the Tyson Fury fight where Fury's on his back foot behind a jab moving around the ring and Klitschko looks robotic. Folks, in the comment section to this video, name me the Anthony Joshua fight. Educate me, educate all of us. Name me the Anthony Joshua fight where he's on his back foot moving around the ring behind a jab, like Tyson Fury was. I think what you're going to have here is a long time heavyweight champion, a guy who won an Olympic gold medal in the 90s, a guy who fought Povetkin, fought Pulev, fought David Haye. Aren't all of those guys still viable as contenders? Right? Can't Wladimir Klitschko say, I've been there, I've done that? Fought Tony Thompson twice. Right? What you're going to have is that guy in the ring, right? Superior jab. What that means is from distance. From distance. Wladimir Klitschko is going to be the superior fighter, folks. He does not even have to get inside. You remember his fight against Sultan Ibragimov many years ago, right? He doesn't have to get inside. If these two guys stay outside, right, the very dynamic that hurt him against Tyson Fury helps him against Anthony Joshua. Right? Joshua's the one who has to get by Klitschko's jab, not vice versa. Right? So understand, Klitschko's going to show up and he's not dealing with a moving Tyson Fury. He's dealing with Anthony Joshua. Joshua's going to be right here, folks. Klitschko's going to be flicking a jab, right, against a younger opponent who will have spent the week dealing with, as you can imagine, in his home country, the British media, the expectations, the enormity of the moment, right? So, when the bookies tell you that the young, unproven guy is the big favorite, ask yourself whether those bookies know more than Lennox Lewis. Ask yourself whether those bookies know more than Deontay Wilder about what it takes to be heavyweight champion, right? Anthony Joshua may well go on to be a dominant heavyweight champion. Who knows? Maybe in 12, 15 years, he'll be Wladimir Klitschko, right? Wladimir Klitschko, if you look through his record, had car crashes. Right? I'm here praising his stamina. He ran out of stamina against Ross Purity when he was unbeaten. Look at his first loss. He wasn't ready then. He wasn't the fighter then that he is now. Maybe Anthony Joshua is not the fighter now that he'll become with more experience. Right? Again, let me challenge YouTube Nation. Please, in the comment section to this video, list Anthony Joshua's most impressive opponents. Right? Charles Martin? By the way, some of you are laughing, but yet isn't that how Anthony Joshua picked up the title? Right? Also, just ask yourself, and to me it's a fair question. You know how Wladimir Klitschko does in the latter part of fights. We've seen it time and time again. Are you certain that Anthony Joshua, if Wladimir Klitschko is fully conscious, is still in the game, is still flicking a jab in round 8? How confident are you that Anthony Joshua is not going to panic? Because the slow rounds, let's face it, are going to go to the guy, to me, who has the better jab. Right? If the guys don't throw a lot of punches in rounds, I think Wladimir Klitschko is going to throw enough jabs to be winning on the judges' scorecards. So if we get to round 8, and if Wladimir Klitschko is ahead, and you know the dynamic here, people will start to say, is this a great comeback? Is Wladimir Klitschko going to get his title back? Right? Can the old man do it? Right? If the mood in the arena turns toward Wladimir Klitschko, and Anthony Joshua senses that his title is slipping away, will he have the stamina in a part of the fight where he's never been to up his game, to overcome a champion who has been in big fights against big punchers and has gone the distance against them in more fights than, quite frankly, Anthony Joshua has had title fights? Right? I think the choice is clear here. If you're a gambler and you're thinking about this fight, and someone tells you, by the way, you're getting better than even money odds on Wladimir Klitschko, I believe the proper response is, thank you, I'll take them. I like Wladimir Klitschko here. I'm not being aggressive, folks. I'm not the loon who's, saying the world's going to end tomorrow, right? Lennox Lewis, Deontay Wilder, they're both questioning whether Anthony Joshua is ready for this fight. Understand, you can be sane and believe that Wladimir Klitschko, a guy with one loss over the last several years, is going to take back his title, and he's going to do it before 90,000 people on British soil. I like Wladimir Klitschko's chances here. Yes, I'm still taking Klitschko. I hope that's apparent from this video. Let me hear from you. I do hope you look up Deontay Wilder's comments. I believe they're heartfelt. I don't even believe Deontay Wilder is talking up a possible fight between himself and Anthony Joshua. Research Wilder's background. You're going to find out that Wilder has sparred with Wladimir Klitschko. Right? He sparred with Klitschko. I believe he understands the challenge facing Anthony Joshua. That's how I see it. Let me hear from you. I hope you leave your comments in the comment section to this video. Thanks for stopping by.